Hello my friends and welcome once again to another episode of Tony's Comfort Kitchen, the home of comfort food. Okay, so today I fancy doing another Indian dish. I'm going to do one of my old favourites from when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and that's Madras. Pretty hot. I've done a pork version, so pork Madras is what I'm doing today. So if that is what you fancy, then let's get going. Okay, I'll introduce all the ingredients as I cook along, and I'll put all the ingredients as usual in the description below. So I'm going to start off with about a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil. We'll let that heat up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook first of all the pork in batches, because there's quite a lot. There's over 600 grams of pork here. So I'll do it in two batches. Now, like any meat, when you put it in the pan like this, you don't want to move it around too much at first. Let it sear and then turn it over. So don't touch it for about 30 seconds or so. We're not trying to cook the meat through, we're just trying to brown the outside. Okay, we'll put all this to one side, then do the next lot. Okay, that's the second lot that has been browned. And now we'll add the onions. Sorry, that's onion. I keep saying onions. There's one onion here, which is quite a large onion. We'll add a good pinch of salt. We'll just let that onion cook down a little bit before adding the garlic and the ginger. Okay, so I'm going to add the garlic and ginger paste. We'll use up whatever's left just right at the end. So that's equivalent of about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic and about an inch of ginger chopped up. If you're interested to know how to make the garlic and ginger paste, I do have a video on that, and I'll put it as a link at the end of this video. You can go and watch that if you want. Very easy to do. Let that cook in. Now sometimes I'll use fresh tomatoes in curries, and other times I'll use tomato paste. And in this case I'm going to use 200 millilitres of tomato paste, tomato puree, whatever you want to call it. Passata. It has many names. Again, that just needs to be cooked in. Let it reduce a little bit, let the oil separate, and then we'll start to add the spices. Okay, it's just starting to separate, but before it separates fully, I'm going to add the spices. So here I have 1 teaspoon of cumin, it's cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of coriander, the seeds of about 6 or 8, can't remember, cardamom pods. I never put the pods in because I just don't like biting on them, so I prefer to take the seeds out. But it's up to you what you want to do. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. Look at that colour. 2 teaspoons of hot chili powder. You know, a Madras is a hot chili. And about 1/3 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. There is some garam masala and fenugreek leaves to go in, but I can go in later. So it's just a case of cooking these spices and the tomato in, and then we can add the meat back in and then add some water to it. There's a wonderful aroma coming off this pan right now. I wish you could smell it. If you cook your own, you will be able to. Okay, I'm now going to put the meat in and its juices. The pork I'm using here, I think anyway, it's pork shoulder, which works very well for a dish like this. Okay, we'll let that cook in a little bit, and then we'll add the water. Turn the heat up, and then I have 500 millilitres of water here. Now, I don't know if I'll use all of it. I'll start by putting about half of it in. You can always add more later. It's clear we are going to need all that water. So we'll just let that cook down and thicken up, and obviously cook the meat because it's not cooked yet. You want to make sure your pork is well cooked. Okay, well, I'll just let that start to cook down a bit, and I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, so it has been simmering away for about half an hour now. I actually added another 200 millilitres of water because it was starting to dry up a bit and the pork was nowhere near ready. So 700 millilitres of water for 600 grams of meat. Now then, coming towards the end, the spices have been finished. I've got a heaped teaspoon of garam masala to go in, plus a good pinch of fenugreek leaves, dried fenugreek leaves, kasuri methi as they call it. And just if it wasn't hot enough already, I'm going to put 2 chopped up chillis in. I like to put them in at the end because it just gives them a little bit of a crunch and not sort of rendered into the sauce. So just mix that in, and I'm also going to put. I've decided to put some chopped up tomatoes, fresh tomatoes in as well. This is 1 tomato cut up into 8. And let those cook in. They don't have to. If they cook down too much and they disappear into the sauce, so be it. Or if they stay intact and fairly whole, so be it too. It doesn't matter. There's no hard and fast rules in this dish. You don't have to put these bits of tomato in, but I just do. It's sometimes it's more for aesthetics than it is for flavour. Interestingly, if you don't know the history of a Madras curry, it's not a traditional Indian dish. It was actually invented in what they call the BIR, which is British Indian restaurants, alongside other dishes like tikka masala. They were never traditional Indian dishes, and they were created in the restaurants for the British taste. But since then, apparently these dishes have gone back to India, which is, I find a bit bizarre. But why not? You know, they're tasty. Certainly tikka masala is lovely. A Madras is basically a curry that is just hotter. So you add 2 teaspoons of chili powder as opposed to 1 for a curry. And a vindaloo, you know, you probably add about 3 teaspoons of chili. They're all pretty much the same, although I'm sure apparently vindaloo has vinegar in it, or should have vinegar in it, because of the influence of the Portuguese traders in times gone past. Anyway, we're cooking Madras tonight, so that's what we'll concentrate on. I've got some rather sad looking coriander here. It's sad because it's been sitting around and it's very hot in here, so we'll add that. We'll let it cook a little bit longer. Reduce the heat, so it's just bubbling away in the next, I don't know, 5-7 minutes, and then I'm ready to dish up. Okay, my friends, I'm diving in. It's hot, but it is a Madras. It's meant to be hot. Excuse me. Well, yes. That is good. I don't know if you can see it in this bowl, but it is very good and very hot. Again, it's one of the dishes that reminds me of my sort of late teens, early 20s, when it was quite a challenge to go out and eat a Madras. I was never man enough for a vindaloo. Not that age. Well, I don't even think I want a vindaloo now even, so this is hot enough for me. That's excellent. If a Madras is too hot for you, then by all means take a look at some of the other videos on my channel. I do a butter chicken, for instance, which is a mild dish. I do a chicken balti too, which is a dish that you know you can give or take chili. You can have it as hot as you want or as mild as you want. A Madras really has to be hot because that's what it was meant to be. So if you can't take the heat of a Madras, butter chicken or something else, take a look on my channel. In fact, I think I'll just put a link up here to the butter chicken one, as well as the garlic and ginger paste. So anyway, yes, this is great. If you can take the heat, give it a go. It is quite hot. And I shall see you in the next video. In the meantime, please like, comment and subscribe. And like I say, I will see you in the next video. So peace and love, my friends. Peace and love.